the thing that makes the Fiero special to drive to me is not only the nostalgia aspect. That hits me every time I take the cover off of it. I just love being low in the car, having this high shifter, the noise of that V6. It's not a technological marvel, but it sounds great and it's behind you. And so I really enjoy that. And it's amazing the looks that the car brings. I'm Anthony Magagnoli, and this is a story of how I got into Pontiac Fieros. So when I was a kid, my uncle, as Filipino, had an 87 GT, and I would have been around 8 or 9 years old when he got it. And that became the car that I recognized as a sports car. I remember getting my pinky stuck in the headlight when he closed it at night one night and screaming my head off, but it didn't make me love the car any less. If I ever got one, it was going to be an 88 GT 5-speed, best of the best. The V6 was already out, the 5-speed had already come out, but in 88 they got their own suspension and some other little updates that really made it finally a competent car. I was living in northern Kentucky, working for Toyota in 08-ish, 09, when a friend of mine told me that he knew of one that became available. It was a 16,000-mile car that had been stored basically in a body shop since 1991. The owner passed away, sons were selling it off, and that was the car. It fell in my lap. How could I not buy it? Enjoyed it for about 9 years or so. Lightly modified it, just in terms of suspension and wheels and tires. That car introduced my wife and I to each other, so it even grew in its importance to me and then to us. I had it for about 9 years until last spring. It was really a precursor to what 2020 was going to be because unfortunately I lost that car in a total loss accident. Fortunately, came out of it, just a little bit banged up, but with nothing permanent or serious. And fortunately, couldn't say the same for the car. I kind of, let that phase of my life go. But I kept my eye out for other 88 GTs. If the right one came about, I'd be open to, rekindling that relationship, I guess. In January of 2021, I was following one on Bring a Trailer. This car came up in the middle of the winter. It was a red 88 GT 5-speed with 23,000 miles on it. One owner car, and looked relatively pristine. I had put a bid into what I considered to be, my close to my top number. I actually even wasn't at my top number for what I would consider a great deal. And there was only one bidder against me. Goes past 30 seconds, start scratching my head. Comes down to 10 seconds, my eyes go wide. As it clicks down to 0, and then says, checking for final bids, sold, and my jaw dropped. My wife jumps up, screams, and runs out the door and down the hall. Fortunately, laughing her head off at the same time, because it could have been a bad kind of scream. And comes back and is like, you just bought a car. Just had a ship and it arrived today, and it's here. I don't think it's ever seen temperatures this cold. It's like 10 degrees out. I kept all the no longer available performance parts that I had on my former car: the pony shock, the aftermarket sway bars, the springs, the wheels and tires. When I finally got the suspension dialed in, just at the beginning of last year, and I hope this car takes that suspension just as well, it actually became a very competent handler, even for a race car driver. I was genuinely surprised how well it handled the back roads and how fun it became to drive hard. That's going to be all ready to go on the car, and then the plan might be for my uncle, actually the one who got me into the Fieros, to actually maybe spend this year or this summer with the car. Hopefully he can kind of rekindle the enjoyment that he had with the Fiero back in late 80s, early 90s when he had his.